Hello, today I have a message called off-ramps. Okay, so we start with give everyone their full due. So I can allow ego to tell me what someone's limiting characteristics are. They're this and they're not that. They have these tendencies. This is their past. This is how they're likely to be. Or I can allow everyone to be in the fullness of what they are, and then I can allow myself to be in the fullness of what I am, free of all past limits. And in this fullness, it's like we expand to touch each other, and there's just one of us. So if we all allow everyone in our mind to expand into their fullness, then our oneness becomes apparent. There aren't any limits. We extend together eternally without limits. Now the ego is going to be talking about all these separate things, and reminding us of limits and claiming limits are true. Spirit can talk about all these apparently separate things too, because as we're perceiving time and space right now, we need to be guided very specifically through it. So Spirit can talk about all these seemingly separate things, but in a very direct and simple way. And every day is the opportunity to kind of sink deeper into this guidance that would be very specific and very simple and very direct. And it's about seemingly separate things. It's about what to say, what to do, where to go. But it's very direct and it's never judgmental. And there's never a sense that you're trying to get something for your separate self or avoid something for your separate self. So the more we learn to turn away from these thoughts about getting something for our separate selves or avoiding something for our separate selves, they seem quite natural to us, because we're in the business of protecting or promoting or even beating up on this separate self. And then maybe ones you call other too, or most definitely, because what we do to us, we do to others in our mind. So it's just every day's a chance to deepen into this very simple instruction that's peaceful and that supports us and that always gives us the next step, building trust that if we take the step we're told to take, we'll be given the next step and the next step. And it doesn't even have to be that conceptual. It can be a flow where we're untroubled by multitudes of thoughts. So we're on a pathway to simplicity together. We're on a pathway to peace together. Why? Because we together are that simplicity and that peace. And we can never not be that, but we've been pretending to not be that. And we've been pretending to look out and see others who are not that. So now's our time for remembering. Give everyone their full due, the fullness of their spirit, and their person follows suit. Their person conforms to what we've decided to see. So if we've decided to see them in the fullness of them, in their full glory, then you've given the same to yourself and to everyone you call other. And in this giving, everything is safe, everything's expanding, everything is taken care of, everything is resolved. So when we're not holding back or limiting anyone in our perception, we are not holding ourselves back. We're not holding the perceived world back from being conformable to what our mind has decided to see. Have we decided to see a representation that reflects the equal and beautiful truth of all of us? Or have we decided to see something else, something from memory, something false from memory? And today I was reminded of someone from my past, and the temptation to think of this person in past terms in a limiting way, because they hadn't come to mind for a while. So I associate them with past patterning and past thinking, and they came up for me, and the opportunity was, okay, see through all that was false, see through all the fear I projected, unto the one I'm calling other, who is not other at all, never has been, never will be, and see through. See, that's forgiveness. See through the illusion to the reality of the being, and allow the being to be the being. Celebrate the being. Be grateful for the being. We don't have to be grateful for anything that is false or fearful. We don't have to try to make ourselves be grateful for separate things in time and space, but we can certainly easily be grateful for the fullness of everyone's being. And that doesn't mean we won't seem to be grateful for things in time and space, but if we get grateful and then we get attached, then we have another little self-limiting circle there we have to stretch out of. So yeah, give everyone their full due. Everyone is held in equality. Everyone's held together in this beautiful, powerful oneness that solves all perceived problems for everyone. Okay, in admitting that you're fearful, this is the beginning of the undoing of everything that needs to be undone. So as we walk through our day today, we will bump into some feelings that are contracted. Or if you've ever had a day of 100% undisturbed tranquility, you let me know. Because that's beautiful. If it can happen for you, it can happen for me. But I haven't had one of those yet. And I kind of think if I did, then the world as I know it would be over. The world of strife. I wouldn't be seeing or witnessing any aspects of that anymore if I had complete tranquility throughout the day. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't understand any more than the light shining directly in front of me shows me on my journey, but that's enough. That's enough. So in admitting that you're fearful, this is the beginning of the undoing of everything that needs to be undone. So whenever I bump into one of these dense spots today, it's just something to be undone, and it's not something to fear. It's just a mistaken perception. And it definitely can be undone. So if we find within ourselves our willingness, that flame or that light of willingness can never be extinguished in everyone. That willingness is the light that cannot go out. So the willingness is a good touchstone. And if I bump into anything dense, contracted, any thought that is not happy, the ego mistakes critical thoughts about others as happiness because it's seeming to put itself in a temporarily better position. But with a seesaw, with the up comes the down. So when we have critical thoughts about others, we're bumping into a point of density where we've been mistaken in our perception. We've been showing ourselves things that aren't true. And we can have all of that undone now, all the sense of limit gone. And limits don't keep us safe, although the ego tells us that. Our extension, our expansion, our oneness, our sameness, our quality, that is our safety. And our safety has never gone away. Now we get to allow it to come into the foreground. In our experience of the body, we might be bumping into some of these densities. If you have any physical discomfort at all, it's a place where we have been thinking in ways that are limiting, and those limits feel safer to us than letting them go. And we'll become aware of the thoughts if we see emotional or physical, but I'm focusing more on the physical, discomfort as a sign that we need to figure out the thought we believe. It can be something very simple like, I'm doomed. Very overall general thought. Of course, we try to distract ourselves away from this base, fundamental feeling of being doomed by maybe criticizing other things or other people, or that's why we have these other sub thoughts, related thoughts. But if we can get really to the core of something like, I'm doomed, I have done wrong, I have made a terrible mistake. Well, it's only a mistake in thinking. It's just thinking that you were separate when you weren't separate, and just thinking that all these things have truly happened when they haven't happened to you, or or done by you. Neither one is true, although it's real for us while we're experiencing it, and it doesn't serve us to deny that. But we need to bump into these points of density, whether they're physical and emotional, and address them appropriately. So that's our opportunity today, to address everything appropriately and calmly, because the more we do this work, the more we have a calm foundation from which to slow down and look at things one by one by one. Really, all the ego thoughts are the same ego thought, but we seem to look at them one by one in separation and let them go and see what is here to rely upon. Our oneness, the peace that we are, the peace that we share. And if I have a special criticism for you, I am denying the peace we share, that's one that belongs to both of us right now, and focusing away from it on purpose. So more and more I get to see the benefit to me is focusing on the peace that we share consistently. Okay, first you admit that you're fearful, and then you allow the fear to be removed. So when I'm fearful, I'm holding on to the fear and I won't let it go. And it's not like fear is real, it's another illusion, but it's the idea of holding on and letting go is an illusion that can help us. So when we're fearful, our fist is closed around it. I need this way of navigating the world and judging the world to keep me safe. I have to judge everything positively and negatively, is what fear tells us. And we have to hold on to our fears to keep our body safe, because we are the body. So all fear is based on the idea that we are the body. And now we're letting this be highlighted and dismantled for all of us. The body is a tool that spirit can use. Perceptual, it's a perception. It's a perceptual tool that spirit can use while we learn how to respond appropriately to fear. And it's both the body you experience as you and all the bodies you see as other. Spirit can use everyone and everything as a tool, and that's not a violation of any kind, because everyone is spirit. Spirit is everyone's true self and yours in one self, all together. So first you admit that you're fearful, and then you allow the fear to be removed. So we could dedicate ourselves to every time the fear has come in today and I feel it, I'm going to acknowledge it. Any not good feeling, physical or emotional, just indicates the presence of the illusion of fear, the presence of the illusion. How can an illusion truly be there? But we think this darkness is real. When somebody turns the light on, where's the darkness? So we allow the fear to be removed by letting someone turn the light on. And by turning to a thought, a consistent thought, like, I am as God created me. When I find other thoughts about people being this way, or people having tendencies, and I focus back on, I am as God created me, well, so is everyone else. They're the same beingness. Same being, same beingness. They're the same. Underneath any fear we've projected on them, they're the same. And the physicality, the perception of time and space, that can be used as a tool to remind us how alike we are. In any way the Spirit's going to choose to use that, we give all of time and space to Spirit to use as a tool to communicate to us that we are loved, that we are safe, that we are all held, that we are all shown the way together, not a select group of us. We're not ourselves alone. Everyone together. Let everything show me today that everyone is safe, loved, supported, and shown the way. Okay. When you locate the fear, you find the illusion in you that would fight. So there's no need for us to fight. There is a need to be vigilant until that need dissolves because we've accepted our one shared self. So there is a need to be aware of feeling and then willing to find the thoughts attached to the feeling and just to hold those up to the light, to give them to the light. And recognition that they've never been true, that they have seemed to be true, and that you may have experience and evidence that seem to prove that those thoughts are true, but that was just an invention designed to reinforce an idea from ego that you believed. So we walk through all these inventions designed to reinforce the ego thoughts we believed. We experience the thoughts that we believe in time and space. Time and space can be used as a tool by ego to say, see, I was right, I'm right, about this separation and this difference and the fact that you're a body and the fact that you're doomed and headed for death. But spirit's also, or the physicality is also a tool for spirit to say, you are what everyone is. You're held, you're carried, you're loved, you're shown the way. The only problem you've ever had is mistaken perception, and now this perception will be corrected to show you the beauty of everything, to show you how problems can get solved, to show you the peace deep within everyone. So all of that is something we can trust. When you locate the fear, you find the illusion in you that would fight. So that part of us that would fight, it has to fight against. It has to put itself in opposition. But when we remember we're the same, there's a sameness in us. And when I sink into and relax into the sameness in us, when I allow the sameness in us, that sameness can give me my instructions, what to say, what to do. That sameness guides my perception. When I see you saying and doing, it guides my perception of you. What am I seeing? Am I seeing the light in you? Or am I seeing characteristics about a body and a personality and focusing on your past and analyzing and judging those? Ego will give me plenty of thoughts about all of that, but none of them are valid. They're just part of the illusion I'm making using ego thought. So it's always these two choices. I can seem to be in a world where I would have to fight and struggle to get my way, to find my way through the world. Or I can be in a world in which I'm shown the way, so you're shown the way, and everybody can relax into the love that's here for all of us, the love that would guide all of us. Okay, when you find what isn't actually here, you can allow the hallucination of it to disappear. So when we have a not good feeling, we're witnessing to what has never been here, but we've imagined it into apparent being. That's what the not good feeling means. It doesn't mean that something is wrong or unequal. It means that I've perceived that, and the perception comes from thought believed. So I've been making illusion, but Spirit, what I truly am, what you truly are, what everyone truly is, can use the illusion to remind us of what we are together, to help us become aware, to guide us home, to help us recognize what is here all around us, within everyone or everything, or behind, or shining down on, or however you want to see it. This light is here. What we actually are is here. And Spirit can show us. And we can always stop to put our trust in Spirit, because in those moments when we don't feel good physically or emotionally, we've turned away from Spirit. We've started to rely upon that thing we invented to rely upon that always misleads us and always leads us to misperception. When we're misperceiving, we're not seeing the other as they are and as they always have been. But we can reorient toward corrected perception, and that corrected perception is everything for us. Our hallucination can disappear. First, our hallucination gets used in a very kind way to reorient us and help us remember and recognize. And then we don't need it anymore. Spirit gives you off-ramps that lead away from dependence on ego thought. So we've been zooming along this ego highway, and we might be tired of the ride, and we have exit ramps everywhere, in every moment. So the second we notice a contracted emotional state or a physical discomfort, there is an off-ramp right there in that moment. And it's like, to take the off-ramp, I need to pause for a moment to acknowledge the contracted state, to remember what came in and tempted me away from what I am and what you are together, from the guidance of that. What tempted me away? What was I believing? Okay, now I give that to the light. I don't need that one. I don't need that thought. Let me take the off-ramp. And then I take the off-ramp and I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going. And this is something we're getting accustomed to. We don't know anything about anything, but we can be shown, and we can be shown moment to moment. I still have patterns I'm clinging on to in fear, kind of like rituals, repetitions, things that help me feel safe. My probably ego's definition of safe, limits. And every day Spirit gets a chance to highlight those for me and help me out of the rigidity and in the perception of that. So we take it, every time we take an off-ramp, we don't know where we're going or what we're doing, but we can be shown. And when we allow ourselves to be shown moment by moment, then everyone and everything around us gets shown too, and is conformable to our perception of everything around us. Everything and everyone is conformable to the truth within us. All perception is conformable to the truth within us. And when we take an off-ramp, we say, okay, I'm going to allow everything to conform to what is true about all of us. I'm going to allow my perception to show me this. I'm not going to bring with me all these ideas from the past that helped me feel safe because I believed I had understood. I understood what this place is, what this person is, what they're likely to do or not do, how I can handle them defensively. So when we take off-ramps, we don't need defenses. And when we pick them back up again, we can feel it. So Spirit gives you off-ramps that lead away from dependence on ego thought. When you depend on thought from Spirit, when I depend on thought from Spirit, I make that thought available to everyone and everything. And that means it becomes conformable in my perception. That doesn't violate anyone, because their true being is just here with mine in equality. It's just shining, luminous. It doesn't have oppositional qualities to other beings. No being is separate. There's really just one being. So I'm not violating anyone if I allow my perception of them to conform to the truth of their being. And this is something I had to get over. Boy, the word conform is being used a lot, but it's a conform that that speaks of our shared truth. And the power of the instant ability to allow this conformability. Everything's very flexible. Everything and everyone can speak to you and me of the truth of themselves as we allow it. So this is a power we all share, that's being highlighted and lifted up for us to see, so we can all accept it together and use it together. So here we have a gift. Happy Easter. Happy resurrection, because this power is truly shared by all of us, and all of us are truly innocent. If the past tells us otherwise, remember that's my fever dream. I imagined that to keep myself convinced that I am separate and under threat. But I don't need to see that past version of you. I know that you're not a doer. I know that you're a being. And the doings that I see can conform to the truth of our shared being. So that's for me to keep, to be aware of today, to keep within me, to guide me, and to actually use our shared power today and make it prominent and obvious for everyone. Okay, happy healing, happy Easter, and hope this was helpful.